Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in to today's video. As you can see from the title, it's about things you can do to protect yourself from a narcissist, especially if you are interacting with somebody who's narcissistic in your everyday life, or maybe he's your boss. And these tips that I'm going to talk about today are going to help you to better deal with somebody with this disorder. The first thing I would say is when you're talking to a narcissist, try and always be as neutral as possible. Try not to show any weakness. Don't show too much emotion in regards to the fact that you might be quite down about something or quite stressed about something. If you can manage it, try and always be quite upbeat around them and quite happy. Keep all sort of conversations quite superficial. Don't give them too much information about your personal life. And even if the person that you're talking to who has narcissism is a family member, do the same with them as well, because a family member obviously has a more intimate relationship with you, and this can, be quite detrimental in general. For those of you who have experienced a family member being a narcissist, you will know what I'm talking about. It's really, really unpleasant. So, like I said, make sure that you are as neutral as possible. This is also known as grey rock. Grey rock means that you don't give them too much to feed off. Narcissists like people that are low, like people that are quite needy. They like people that are miserable, and they're attracted to that. They sort of get a buzz from making people feel bad. They like putting people down. They're like bullies. That's what bullies do. Bullies put people down so they can feel stronger. Another thing I would say when interacting with someone who has narcissism is try not to expect anything from these people. They're not able to have a mutually give and take relationship with somebody because they're always more focused on their needs and what they can get out of somebody or a situation. So don't ever expect that you will be treated in an equal way. There's no fairness with the narcissist. Another thing that is very important is to avoid ever confronting a narcissist and avoid criticizing a narcissist. They may seem like they're really sort of powerful because they have such a big ego and they always show sort of, that they're confident and they're better than everybody, but actually deep down they have a very fragile self-esteem. So if you confront a narcissist, there's two things that usually happen. The most common is that they will get really angry and they'll have an explosive reaction and be really aggressive toward you and say things like, how dare you say that about me? If it's a parent, you might sort of use guilt and try and shame you by saying, how can you be so cruel to me after everything I've done for you? So yeah, try not to criticize them, try not to confront them. You're always going to lose when it comes to narcissists, because even if you do try and confront them, they have a really good way of manipulating things, twisting things, and making everything out to be your fault. So if you tell them you're a liar, they will turn it around and say, actually no, you're the liar. If you tell them you're crazy, that you have unreasonable demands, they will find a way to turn that around again and tell you that you're the one that has unreasonable demands because you're saying these things about them when they're not true. And then they will tell friends, they might even tell other family members, and they'll turn everybody against you. They'll try and get everybody on their side. Protect yourself as best as you can. Something that is really important if you have grown up with parents that are narcissistic is that your self-worth was basically destroyed by these people. You might have grown up with no self-esteem whatsoever because they're really good at grinding you down every single day, finding faults, telling you can't do things, calling you demeaning words. So try, if you're recovering from narcissistic abuse, then you have to find ways to increase your self-worth. You have to find ways to feel better about yourself by practicing self-compassion, by trying to be more caring towards yourself, by surrounding yourself with positive and uplifting people, by doing good things, by volunteering. Try and surround yourself with positivity. and don't be too hard on yourself. Another important thing, a lot of narcissists enjoy putting people down. They enjoy being very critical. They enjoy being bullies. If you are in a situation with a narcissist that does this to you, then try not to take the bait. Try not to react. I know that it's really hard to not react when someone's being really nasty to you, but that is what they want. They want to see you react. So you have to try not to react. You could maybe say, well, that is your opinion, and try and keep as cool and as calm a face as possible. But don't bite. Don't give them what they want. Don't give them the satisfaction. If you're in a really difficult situation with a narcissist, so for instance, you might be in the middle of divorcing one, or you might have a narcissistic boss, stating things that you need is not enough to get them to listen to you. Because narcissists always need things to be done in a way where they will get something out of it, when you say something to them, when you ask them for something, try and state it in a way where it will benefit them. So for instance, if your boss is narcissistic and he's making you work way too many hours and you're exhausted, then instead of saying to him, I really would like you to reduce my hours at work because I'm really struggling and I'm too exhausted and I can't focus. Instead of doing that and showing weakness, then instead you should say, my quality of work would improve a lot more if it was possible that I didn't work nights anymore. Or you could also say, I would bring in a lot more revenue for your company if we were only to stick between these and these hours, for instance. So always make sure that you say something that benefits their company, that benefits them, and then they will probably consider what you are asking. As I mentioned before, the best thing for dealing with a narcissist is to not deal with them. So if it is possible for you to completely cut ties with a narcissist, then do so. No contact is the best way, whether it's a parent, whether it's a colleague, whether it's a friend, or whether it's a husband or a partner. No contact means no phones, no Facebook, no other forms of communication, not hearing about them, not asking friends about them, just completely cutting them out of your life and almost pretending that they're dead. Because only then will you be able to grieve your losses, only then will you be able to have therapy that will help you heal. Because if they're still there, sort of trying to affect you, pulling strings, blaming you, telling you that they can't live without you, telling you that they're suicidal or whatever else they can come up with, it's still kind of pulling you back. It's still pulling you into this whole drama, this whole craziness that they love having in their life. So if you can, go no contact. If you can't go no contact, then do this grey rock technique that I mentioned earlier. Be as neutral as possible. Don't confide in them. Don't give them any information that they can use against you. Be as neutral as you can, and hopefully they will lose interest. When you are sort of in the process of leaving a narcissist, be very careful of who you tell. If you tell mutual friends that you're, thinking about leaving and that they're horrible to you and that they were abusive to you, it might be that the narcissist has already suspected that you might talk to them, and he might have already tried to turn them against you. He might have already gone there and with flattery, and have said that you're crazy and have, made up all these lies about you and made you look like the bad one. So my advice would be, always talk to somebody who is outside of your group of friends, somebody that doesn't know the narcissist, who you feel is a safe person that you can talk to. Or find a counselor or a trauma therapist or somebody that can help you and that you can talk to one-to-one and that the narcissist knows nothing about. So be very wary when you tell close family or friends that have a relationship with a narcissist. The last thing I would say is that if you're in a situation where, like a divorce, where there's kids involved and things are really quite stressful and money's involved, then I would document absolutely everything. By documenting your conversations, by keeping emails that you may exchange or text messages you may exchange, this can be used as proof in court in the future if there's, if it's necessary, if there's lawyers involved. If things get really ugly, you want to have proof, you want to have documentation. And of course, be very wary that when you are also talking and responding, make sure that your responses are calm and collected. It's very important. So if there's any other things that you can think of when dealing with a narcissist that might be useful, I'd love to hear from you. I would generally say that when you do go no contact with a narcissistic parent, it probably will be one of the most painful things you have to deal with. Cutting ties with a parent who's abusive is very difficult because there is such a thing known as toxic bonding. So as a child, your parents were the most important thing to you, and obviously if they're also abusive, you don't know any other way, so you still love them and you still have this very strong connection to them, and you feel that if they abandon you, you might just die from the emotional pain. So going no contact is something that I would suggest that you do with support. You have to have support. You have to have somebody there who's on your side, whether it's a supportive partner, and I would also recommend having a therapist, because you will go through a range of emotions. You will feel guilty, you will feel devastated, you will feel like going back on your decision and talking to them. They might try and continue talking to you, and it's going to be very difficult. So that's the end of the video for today. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, guys. Take care and see you soon. Bye.